Hello, Borgers. Good evening to everyone, and let's go for the powwow. Yo, yippee, yay. I hope you guys are
Woo!
excited. I hope you guys are thrilled. Uh, as you can see here, there's myself, Cyrus Brazil, and of course, my dear brother with us today. The good thing is that Alex has prepared a lot of surprises to bring a lot of great people, a lot of wonderful burgers into this wonderful evening that we're going to spend about talking about Swissboard token, the Swissboard network, and obviously a lot of great things that will carry us to all-time high, and more importantly, to our mission, which is democratizing wealth management by making it, Alex, fun.
Fun, fair, and community centric.
There you
But
go.
I think one thing that's changed, Guy, in terms of the format this time in the live stream is obviously we want to be very transparent. Sometimes you need to break things in order to rebuild them, the good, the bad, the beautiful. But at the same time, in this particular format, guys, we'll touch upon the bigger roadmap. But correct me if I'm wrong, Side. We're focusing more on the short term today, right? Rather than talking about long term goals. We really want to focus on the next 2 to 3 months, and then perhaps have another live stream with you guys specifically on the CHSB 2, 3, 4 months down the line. What do you think, Sai? Is that pretty much how we're summing it up?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think so. Obviously going to talk about Swissware token, about the yield program, we're talking about the protect and choose and all the governance that goes around it. I know you've already heard Alex and myself talking about the hero score, but we'll have Jotso and other people talking about that. We're going to talk about something extremely new that people have been talking about on Twitter. It's the alpha opportunities, which can bring a lot of new utilities to our wonderful burgers in a great way. And then at the end, talk about the roadmap and a quick recap. And I think so. Yeah, I'm super, super excited about that. The I think so. What is very important is always to talk about, of course, our Swissborg token and to see like what we have built and where we're heading, right? And obviously, we always had very ambitious goals to bring a lot of utilities, to bring a very big amount of strong community to embrace our token, and of course to become competitive towards the space. We already managed to do amazing things from the ICO to get to best coin market cap asset management token to get to in the top 60s. And today, we're suffering a bit. And I think so, we're suffering a bit because, well, we've really did extremely, we really built and designed the token to bring a lot of values within the Swissborg ecosystem. And what we probably have missed though, it's probably to how to decentralize the token, how to bring utilities not only within the app, but as well have it on chain and move a bit from migrate from the model of internet to really the internet Web3 version. And for this, we've really, thought about a lot of different ways to bring this new values and finally to get to the top 50 in coin market cap, which is Radisha's goals. But I'm very happy. I'm very uh, confident that we're going to get there. And what about you, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one thing that's really important is, as you said, Sai, everything has to be sustainable. The big picture, guys, obviously, we'll touch upon it briefly, but really we need to go. You always say this, Sai, go from the internet to the internet, right? Really having a token that's decentralized, we can use more platforms and not just locked into ours. And speaking of looking at the future, Swissborg loves to use data driven approaches in almost every decision that we make. And so we're going to kick off with some stats, and Aurelien's going to join us, who is the head of the DeFi team. Aurelien, you here, buddy? And he'll explain a little bit
Mm.
about what's the current state, guys, give you some stats and numbers to put everything into perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Cyrus. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so hello everyone, and I'm super happy, like really, to join all the community members around this event. And so, like you said, I'm Aurelien. I'm leading the DeFi team at Swissborg, and I really want to talk about something that is near and dear to our hearts, which is the CHSB token. So it's really easy to get caught up in the numbers game. So really, like those metrics that I'm going to present are really important, but they only tell a part of the story. So now, what I want you to have right now, it's build the story with me and build the CHSB story together. So first of all, what is Swissborg? It's the number one crypto wealth manager in Europe, but not only. What is important with Swissborg is the power of the community. And as of today, Swissborg boasts an impressive 152K token holders. So that's 152K individuals who believe in the vision and the mission of Swissborg of decentralizing wealth management. But what's even more impressive is that we've seen like a 13% increase year over year. So there is no bear market for our dear community, and it's a reflection of the faith that each and every one of you has placed in this project, and the trust that you've shown in the team to deliver on their promise. And we really want to thank you for that. And the next topic is really about the importance of distribution when we talk about like crypto tokens. Many people believe that the token is only as strong as its biggest holder, the so-called whales. But the truth is that a healthy distribution of tokens between whales and fish or smallholders is actually crucial for the success of the token. And that's exactly what we have at Swissborg. In fact, 89% of the supply of CHSB token is controlled by people with less than 250K in CHSB. This means that the vast majority of token holders have the stake in the success of Swissborg, and their voices and opinion matter just as much as the biggest holders. But it also ensures that no individual or entity has too much control over the token's price or direction. And it creates at the end a more decentralized ecosystem, which is the point of the whole cryptocurrency in the first place. And by decentralizing this power, we create a more democratic and equitable system that benefits everyone and not just a selected few. And if we talk about the price action there, first of all, I want you to acknowledge that it's natural for tokens price to fluctuate over time. Just like any other asset in the world, the price of a token is influenced by a wide range of factors, including market sentiment, adoption, and competition. And while it can be tempting to focus solely on the price, it's important to remember that the value of a token is ultimately determined by its utility and the problems it solves. And right now, having our token at 5.9 times the price of its all-time high means that we still have plenty of room to grow. We haven't hit the ceiling yet, and there is still a lot of potential for our token to appreciate and value over time. And with what we are building and what we will show you tonight, I'm fairly confident in saying that it's only a matter of time before we revisit the all-time high. And I just want to finish by saying something before we continue the show, and that we show everything that we've built for you. So it's been 5 years from the ICO, and we are still here and building with our beloved community. And I truly hope that you will stay with us for the next 5 years. So I will send the mic back to you, Cyrus and Alex.
Beautifully said.
Beautifully
How about
thought.
that, Cyrus? Putting us
That
to shame,
pumps
guys.
right
You see
off.
that? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
just I think we can go home and sleep now, Si. That was too good for us.
exactly. Drop the mic. Just like in terms of stats as well, I think so. Which is interesting to see is that, yeah, if we do, manage to get to one of our competitors like Binance, well, then, the price of the token would be $56. If we get to be as big as OKX, and which I strongly believe we will, we'll get to $3.25 and compare the market price today. So it really shows that again, we really have a lot of room to grow, and with the new utilities and this new life, I'm more than confident that we'll get there. um, Talking about Web3 and how we move into this new way, Alex, do you want to explain us why are we doing this and how we're going to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this, guys, is a glimpse of the next CHSB live stream. We're just going to go a little bit high level, which is not instant future, but there's so many things, guys, that you must understand that are happening in the background simultaneously that we cannot announce until everything is aligned. Not just the technology, the accounting, the legal side. There's so many different layers before being able to announce something. And in the past, I think one thing that we made a mistake with, guys, is we were a bit too optimistic on timelines, on milestones, and didn't realize all the unexpected situations that could happen further down the line. So here is to give you a little bit of a glimpse of the future, guys, on things that are happening in parallel. But once again, after this slide, we're going to talk about tangible things, actionable items that will kick off within the next day and even few weeks. So yeah, go for it, Sai. What are we? Why do you want to bring CHSB to decentralized world, and what are some of the steps that you think critical?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what we have is to bring more utilities. What we need to is to cross communities, try to be able to reach new audiences, and for now, essentially, what it was like, we'll download the app. When you download the app, then you will buy CHSB tokens, which is a great model. And I think so this intranet will just only grow, especially with waves that we know that every 3-4 years the number of users grows from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400%. So just by keeping that model, it's a very virtuous cycle. But like when we're not having so much acquisition in terms of new users, well, then the CHSB has still remained only that beautiful golden token just for the borgers that are within the Swissborg ecosystem. So the idea is to be able to tap into the DeFi and be able to have integrate in different decentralized financial protocols. Of course, would be to reach new communities as well, like listing on biggest exchanges. And then the next ones, which is really about what we're going to talk about today, is bringing the sustainable reward mechanism and have a real governance model that's led by a DEO to really decentralize, not only the voice, but how people could really become borgers and essentially manage what they believe is the best and have their not only opinions being dealt with, but as well be able to potentially one day create whatever they feel is the best. So giving that independence, I think, so is something that we're looking forward to it. Now talking
Absolutely. So
about the
now, guys,
CHSB yield program. Go for it, Alex. Yeah.
yes. So we have a new person coming in. So Julia is going to be helping us. She's an amazing person who works in corporate finance and accounting, and I think, bringing data to the table once again on all of our decisions is very important to make decisions as objective and as effective as possible. So if you don't mind bringing in our lovely Julia.
Hi guys, I am super excited to be joining my first ever live session. And as Alex said, I will be sharing with you some financial point of view and some financial data about the current state of CHSB and our current utilities as first the yield program. So if we could go to the next slide, guys, to go in, dig deep to what's happening with the yield and what happened with the yield. So the first question that we can ask that did the CHSB yield program achieve the main goal for it was designed for? All the slides will answer this question. Let's start with the first. Did it attract people? Yes, we have 85,000 lovely community members holding some money in the CHSB yield. And we distributed till today, from the beginning of the program, 53 million CHSB tokens in the value of 25 million of US dollars. Also on the distribution, we can see that every premium tier is taking part of these 85,000 users. The biggest cohort is the standard and the community users together with 85%, thereof standard for 65%, which is an amazing achievement that we see that really the full community is really excited to join this program. But there is always a but. And on the next slide, we will see this but. And the but is that the program was designed to decrease the supply of CHSB by everyone locking a little bit in the CHSB yield. And then we still keep the demand because the people would still go on the market and buy CHSB. And based on basic economics, this should protect the price and drive the price up. But we can see also on this chart that although we got more and more and more token locked in the CHSB yield, the price dramatically decreased. So the CHSB yield failed to protect the price, and it's not helping also the current market because we have a huge lack of volume. Because although even that the additional yield distribution didn't create a huge supply, so it didn't create a huge selling pressure on the user, we see that the demand slowly disappeared. So right now the volumes, the volatilities are really low, and this is not helping the token, and it is also making us unattractive for exchanges to get listed. Also, if we are looking into the cohorts again, then we can see that, can you move to the next slide, guys? Yeah, so we see that the total subscriptions, as coherent to the slide before, increased. So the total subscription were in additional in 2022, 93 million, and we only had 76 million of redemption. But if we are looking on the chart, we see that there is also quite a big difference between the different premium cohorts. And Genesis was the one who decreased the amount in the yield. So they had more subscriptions, more redemptions than subscriptions in total. Not only having more subscriptions on the lower communities, lower premium levels, outstanding is the community on the next slide, but we can also see that this net flow also had an influence on the token holdings and not just on the yield holdings. So this is also showing that actually we didn't reach a complete democratic system with the yield, because 74% of the total yield payouts of 2022 went to the Genesis members. And on the slide and on this chart, you can see that the Genesis members were the ones, or some, let's say that a small cohort of Genesis members, that they also decided to completely sell off these additional tokens that they got distributed to them. And we see that this didn't help the price either, although we had this amazing bunch of people, a lot of people in the community who purchased additional tokens. So I would say this is also positive that we see that the buy-sell balance in general was also for most of the cohorts positive, but the selling pressure of Genesis was enough to have the impact on the token that we see. And this is resulting. Alex, do you want to announce it live that we already announced it in the emails?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Julian. And a lot of the people out there seem, quite concerned, and we've seen your messages and your voices on Twitter. Still, people supporting this news, which we appreciate it. But I think, really to put everything into perspective, it's not just an economical point of view, guys. So it was just mentioned earlier. Is it purely based on data? No, there are other reasons to the end of the yield, the temporary end of the yield. And we have other solutions temporarily, but we have better solutions in the long run, which Aurélien is going to lead for the next CHSB live stream to give you guys also more input on how we're going to transition. But I guess, to sum it up, guys, the community index and the yield program had a great concept of meritocracy, right? Where we wanted to give more of the yield to the smaller fish in order to go up and lock their tokens. And we saw some pros, right? We saw more and more people being able to upgrade their premium levels, and it did work. But I think the downfall of this, generally speaking, and there are many ways of seeing this, of interpreting this data, is that because the Genesis felt, a lack of utility, or felt maybe kind of undermined with lower yields, not only all the yields were going to them, or the majority, as we can see through the data, but the Genesis were actually selling all this. And all in all, even though the small fish managed to go up in premiums, it actually was detrimental to the price of the CHSB token. So there are many ways of seeing this, guys, but they're not the only reasons why. Another reason is that, in the long run, with the current market conditions, when trading volume is low, we're going through the worst years crypto has ever seen, across the board, whether it's CFI or DeFi. Right now, at the current pace, it is also not sustainable in the long run. And for those reasons, we need to find solutions to make the yield sustainable. That is the most important component. Nobody expected having, so many black swans in 2022, and still the black swans are coming in 2023, right? So it's been a really tough, years, or year and a half, 2 years so far. And I think you've seen, once again, the token price was definitely an issue. And one thing, if you look all the way at the bottom of this slide, you'll notice, guys, that there is another issue. Some of the US-based exchanges that we're currently in discussions with, including the top tier ones, they do not necessarily like to list tokens that have a yield to it. They don't want to understand the community index. They don't want to know how we structure things. But it's not easy to get listed in the US if you have yield attached to the token based on their definition of things. So that's one thing. But what I must say, guys, is yes, is this painful in the shorter term? 100%. I'm sure a lot of you out there are sad, disappointed. I do want to put things into perspective. Number one, we have a temporary solution, which we'll visit next. But number two, we have a long-term solution, which is even more viable and more sustainable than the current one. And up until now, being able to reward the community $25 million roughly in CHSB token is amazing. I think this is a great gift, and we're going to continue to give you what you deserve. But all in all, hopefully you can understand that from multiple levels, it makes sense to end the yield temporarily and come up with other solutions. And so I guess, Julia, next up is to talk about what is coming on the brighter side of things, right?
Yes, exactly. There are a lot of great news, so I wouldn't say that the temporarily end of the CHSB is our main message, of the CHSB yield, not the CHSB, but hope maybe I said something. But yeah, so the temporary end of the centralized yield on CHSB is not the end. There are also things coming back. And I think Benji is here to announce something that everyone will be really happy about.
Hello everyone. So yes, we're going to be talking about the CHSB governance. This is more in the long run, but we're going to be introducing new feature or a revisited feature in the very, very short run. So this is a green alert in the soon scale that some of you guys know. So what we're introducing here is the guardians of the CHSB. What is the guardians of the CHSB? First, we're going to be looking on the next slide at the utilities that we're going to be bringing back, which is the protect and choose. You guys know that we had the protect and burn. Then we updated it to the protect and choose because we wanted to bring the community closer to the feature. But did it really meet its target? Okay, let's take a look. We have the challenges of the protect and choose is that it was seen as unreliable because it was meant or it was said to be triggered at each quarter, and unfortunately it wasn't. This meant that people didn't believe that the protect and choose was a valuable feature, and unfortunately we had to solve it. So we're going to be fixing that, as you can see later on in the slide, but I'll talk about it a bit more. Secondly, the voting power is not deemed representative of the involvement, which meant that a standard user with 1 CHSB could vote the same as a standard user with 5,000 CHSB. So some felt like their impact on the whole financial side wasn't valued enough. And we hear that. It's a very valid point. And the third point is that there is no room to evolve. So no one could propose new initiatives. No one could ask us, hey, do you think this is a good idea? I'd like to make a suggestion. I'd like you to do this for CHSB to help CHSB. So these three reasons made us evolve the system. And then, Julia, on the financial side, there are also some things that we'd like to mention. So I'll let you talk about that right now.
Yes, exactly. So we also have to mention that how the protect and choose was designed, it didn't really fit always to the financial situation of the company. So it was always tied to a percentage of our total revenue. And as you know, a percentage of the total revenue cannot always work because the company is also having fixed expenses. And that would result also that the company could end up in a worse financial situation that the community definitely doesn't want. Than without this. But we definitely never want to stop this product, and we also want to make it more sustainable. So we figured out a new way that how we can sustainably feed this protect and choose pool, which will be tied to our beloved community index, but also on the other hand, on the result of the company. Why is it good? Because the financial success of Swissborg is really important for us. It's really important also for all of the 16,000 investors that you are guys from the community. And it's really important for you as CHSB holders because the more successful the company is, the higher the CHSB price can be. So based on this, we figured out a new way, which is a 2-dimension matrix to feed this pool, the community index as one dimension and the financial result of the company as the second dimension. And the good news is that this can be in really good times that we already experienced in 2021. So we know that it exists much higher than 20%, up to 50%. So at that moment, we can say that a big share of the company's result can come to the community and come to this pool where the community is having full decision-making power that what is happening with it. And on this, Benji, I think you have some good insights for the community. That what are we planning with these additional allocations?
Yes. So the good news is here. We found a new way to allocate funds to the Protect and Choose pool, and this new way will make it so that if Swissborg is getting more revenue, then the pool is getting filled up more. But there is another concept of it, which is how we're going to be using it. And this is something that's at the heart of a lot of our community members. And so we're going to start with a very simple concept, and then we're going to evolve it into something much better. So what we're going to be doing is a town hall similar to this, where we're going to be explaining the different suggestions and the different possibilities that we have to use the funds of that pool. Then we're going to be voting on a monthly basis, and then we're going to be publishing the results. What does that mean? That means that every month you'll be voting if you want to burn, if you want to do a guardian's contribution, if you want to create a new safety net or fill it up, or if you want to do nothing. This is just for the first months, and then in the long run, we'll be taking your suggestions and we'll be implementing them as well. But this is just the first choice. And the voicing power or your impact in that whole system is going to be the number of CHSB that you hold multiplied by your premium tier boost multiplied by your hero score rank. And you can see here the premium boost and the hero score rank. So Genesis get 1.5 boost. And if you're in the top 5% of our contributors, you get 1.5 boost as well. So let's say you have 1000 CHSB and you're Genesis and you're in the biggest contributors of Swissborg, then you're going to have a much bigger impact than if you are at 100 CHSB and you are not premium and you don't have a hero rank. So this is the whole system, how it's going to work, but it's into much more details on the blog. And the article is already live. So just after this live, you can check it out and read through all of the details. I really try to put everything down. And if you have any questions, feel free to go on Discord. But in the meantime, that is the announcement to something good that's coming back, and that will be coming back very soon, which is on the next slide. This slide changed since last I saw it, but yes, the Protect and Burn is therefore coming back, or at least the burn side of it, because we'll be every month burning regardless of what the general vote, because each individual vote is important. And so we're going to be allocating, depending on how much CHSB you control with your voice, this amount to the Protect and Burn pool. So every month there will definitely be some burns, because I know that some of you out there are just looking forward to that. So yeah, I see that you guys are happy. I know that it's going to be happening. And let's just check out how much CHSB will be burnt every month. On the next slide, I put a little simulation of what will be happening next. So for example, for this month, so for this kind of trial period where we'll be testing out the system and showing you what we can do and what we will be doing monthly with it, we're going to be using 830,000 CHSB. And this is because we had a 6.6 community index. And as mentioned, the community index is important to decide how much we'll be allocating to the pool. Here's the formula. I'll let people like Julianas explain it into details. Everything is on the blog article. We're not going to go into it now. But basically, the better we do, the more we can burn or do anything else that we want with it.
Yes, maybe, Benji.
Yeah,
Sorry. I
go for
think it would really worth a hint that what is the Guardian's contribution, because Alex already said some hints that there is something that's coming back to the community till we are having a
Yes.
more sustainable yield. So I think everyone is waiting to know that
All
what
right.
Guardian's contribution is.
I wanted to keep some secrets and some good news, but the Guardian's contribution is basically a pool that will be reallocated to the people that voted in the system. So if you choose to allocate a certain amount in the Guardian's contribution, essentially it will be getting back in the form of an airdrop to your wallet, which can be interesting to some people, and or others may prefer the burn. So now we're giving the choice of, do you want to receive something or do you want something to go away? And that's literally up to you. So when will that be happening? Well, tomorrow. And that's it. We'll be voting. So we'll be sending out the link of the StreamYard and of everything that you need so that you can enter whatever you think is best. You'll receive the email. It will be super clear and you'll be able to get the results in the next 10 days. And then we'll be viewing everything and airdropping what is meant to be airdropped, burning what is meant to be burned, and saving what is meant to be saved. So this is what hopefully can be considered as the first good news. And I know that we've got a lot coming up. With that said, I'll be bringing back up DCs and we'll be introducing a new a new employee, I think.
Yes, I also think so.
But prior to that, I think so. We're getting a lot of positive and at the same time some negative comments in the chat, and I think so. That's the most important, and that's the real utility of any community is to be able to voice what's your opinion. When people are saying in the chat, the most important utility is to have a yield. No. Well, you just could create a token and an infinite amount of supply and just pay a 50% yield like PancakeSwap is doing. But that's not sustainable, or it's called the Ponzi, right? And I think so. This is very important. We believe what is right. I think so for the community is to bring real strong utilities. Like we figured out extremely well how to bring premiums. Premium get a status. Status enables you to do a lot of different cool stuff into the Swissborg app, which enables you to get a better yield, less fees, better voting power, get to have a better allocation now, better to give a better chance to build healthy habits to become wealthy. So that was a very strong one, and we're probably never going to touch that one. I mean, we'll probably always make it better by adding on top different services. We might create different premium tiers that will be focused for some people that have different profiles. But being able just to give a yield on the treasury, it's not a sustainable way of doing things. And as you guys know about Swissborg, is that we always look at what is the way that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years, 20 years, doesn't matter a lot of years from now, how can you really be able to build something that is long lasting? Earlier, Aurélien touched about the fact that 5 years ago, we launched our token. Less than 0.1% of tokens are older than 5 years. Okay? So take that math, put it back in your brain, and rethink. So, of course, maybe on the short run, we're seeing today a drop of 10% and some people panicking. And it's not good, but it's really healthy because it means that, well, people are dissociating themselves saying, oh, this is not for me. And then other people that were probably looking on the long run will say like, oh, well, that's now a great opportunity to come in. Michel, that is commenting on this chat on this video, saying, well, to me, it doesn't really matter. Of course, he bought the token at 10 cents. And then he bought it again probably at 1 or 2 cents. And he saw a drop of 99%. And even back then, me and him, or a lot of different people from the community that was smart enough to realize saying like, okay, there's an exaggeration. And markets always tend to be irrational because us as human beings, most of the time when money is involved, we are quite irrational and very emotional to it. And I think so this is exactly what we're trying to do again is how to bring strong utilities. And the next one for me, which is an extremely interesting one, and I am very excited, is to bring the hero score, which is
Sai,
something that's sustainable. Go for it.
can I add just one thing? Can I ask all you beautiful burgers out there to share some green hearts for Julia and Benji stepping up to the plate? Send us as many hearts as possible, and also Aurélien as well. And let us know what you think. Like Cyrus and I were always saying, it's boring to always just have us or with Anthony. It's good for you guys to see new faces. Let us know, obviously, in the comments as well. And I just want to sum up with two things, guys. The price of the CHSB token today moved by 10% in one day. In one day, you have double digits. Here with a yield, you're getting double digits in 1 year, right? So once again, goodbye to the yields temporarily, but let's say hello to governance and earning by being more active in the ecosystem. So it's a great transition and it's not done. Can we welcome our amazing Joko? And I'll take a step back and leave there you
Jotso.
go.
Like that, everyone
Hey
remembers his
guys.
name. Jotso, guys. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tongue twister. Hi everyone, it's so great to be here with you today. My name is Yotso, and at Swissborg, I'm focusing on making your experience in our app more and more engaging. And today, I am thrilled to announce yet another addition to our utilities, the Hero Score program. This 10-week challenge for exclusive prices like opportunities, cashback, and airdrops. And not only that, but with every action you will take by participating in the program, you will benefit the whole Swissborg ecosystem and also the CHSB token. And now look at why we are doing it. The Hero Score program is our way to assemble a team of loyal superheroes, basically like the Avengers. You will be a part of the community that's always looking out for each other and striving towards a common goal to make the Swissborg ecosystem stronger. Our Hero Score program addresses the clear need, the long-standing need for personalized rewarding mechanisms that recognize your loyalty and efforts already on the individual level. Now let's see on the next slide how you can unleash your inner hero. The program is all about the next generation of heroes, and we've worked really hard to ensure that you will want to be part of it. With milestone-based superpowers that you can get by joining, you will get access to exclusive earn opportunities, governance utilities, airdrops, and even up to 50% weekly CHSB cashbacks on your individual exchange activity. It's all for you now. There's never been a better time to engage with our flagship products in the Swissborg app. How it will work. Our philosophy is to strengthen the Swissborg ecosystem by rewarding you, our active and loyal community members. So how do you collect points? It's really easy. You get closer to your superpowers by buying and holding CHSB, using our flagship products like Earn, Thematics, but even through demonstrating your loyalty to the Swissborg ecosystem. And the best part is that majority of the points you collect are directly linked and connected to the CHSB token. This way, we aim to strengthen the Swissborg token and therefore contribute to the growth of the whole ecosystem. So it's like just like the Avengers, you'll be working towards the community together. With the program through configuration, you really help the whole community move forward with your personal journey. As a last point, if you can go to the next slide, please. What you will need to do right now is keep in mind that next week we are opening up the opt-in. In the meantime, make sure to boost your CHSB balance, make your account premium, and look out for a message next week with the sign-up form and the blog post that we are going to be sharing. I really can't wait to get started with you on this journey, and there is only one thing left for me to say here. Wargers, assemble. Back to you, Alex and Sai.
Thank you very much. Definitely, let's assemble. And I think so. The hero score is really something that has been well thought. If you guys remember back in 2018 when we led the first referendums on chain, it was all that meritocracy, right? It's how you reward people that people essentially bring a lot of work or love into the network, right? If you would vote, then you would get an airdrop based on that. And I think so. This is exactly the same way how to build essentially a more sustainable ecosystem where you're really bringing people to coach them to have healthy habits and therefore to become wealthy. And of course, it's going to be fun and gamified. Uh, so, Yotso, the idea here is to have multiple different seasons and to test out different ways to have these different rankings and score these hero scores. Is that correct?
That's correct. This is going to be the first season. It's going to last 10 weeks, and we are going to learn together. So there's going to be continuous feedback loops with you guys. We are really going to listen to your feedback on what's working, what's not. And this is the key for us in the next 10 weeks to really understand how can we make the whole experience in the app better for you.
And from what I've heard from some users or some employees saying like, oh, well, I don't like to be so active on social media and do these different quests through Crew 3 where other people really like it. Can you tell people that essentially it's not about only growth about Swissborg, it's more about, doing different actions that essentially make you to be a better investor, make you become a better, essentially wealthier person. Is that correct?
We really believe that with our products that we are launching, we are focusing on long-term wealth management. And with this program, we really want to emphasize that when you use these products, you will become better in wealth management. And this is what we are focusing our point scoring system as well. So the more you will use our products, the better you will get in them, the more points you will get.
I'm very, very enthusiastic about this. We've been talking about it already since 2018, 19, actually even the white paper, to be honest. So even 6 years already down the line, and I think so. This is a great moment that's going to be plugged into essentially Swissborg. And for that, I heard that if you get a quite a good hero score and you have, you're essentially being able to grow in your ecosystem, in our ecosystem. We're about to announce something new, which is all about the alpha opportunities. Alex, I think so. It's your turn to shine, and of course Danielle as well. Very excited to have both of you guys talking about what is this beautiful A, how is this going to be a game changer, and yeah, floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sai. I'm generally extremely excited to be here about this. I've been dying to talk about this brand new product that we've been working super hard at developing in the background. I'm not sure if Alex is going to join me. If not, I'll just take it home. But um, is that
Alex is
Alex going
about
to
to
join us?
join.
I'm here, brother.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Alex, I'll let you start, and then let's go over this amazing new product.
Absolutely. So, guys, what does this mean? What is this beautiful shape that you can see? But before actually jumping into the product, guys, I want to give you a bit of a large, high level, very big picture. So, let's zoom out as much as we can and really try to understand what we're trying to achieve. What are the problems we're trying to solve? And then, Danny, this handsome, younger version of myself, will give you the specifics on the product and how cool this really is. But this is a bit of a stereotypical point of view. So, please take it with a grain of salt. We created like three core community personas. So, who are you guys within these three? At the top, we have Cautious Kathy, who is a bit of a conservative type of person that doesn't want to dabble with too many coins. The second person we have here is Adventurous Adrian. And Adventurous Adrian is, yes, he is a bit conservative, but he also likes to play on the weekends, right? He might, shoot some poker games with his friends, et cetera, et cetera. So he has a bit of a higher risk tolerance appetite. And then you have DJ Damien, who is just full on poker mode, leverage. He's just going for all these micro caps that are under a million fully diluted valuation type plays. And I don't know if you guys agree out there, but Swissborg has done a decent job at creating, as we can see on the right-hand side of this picture, a trusted crypto platform that is a little bit more on the conservative side. And on the other far side of the spectrum, we have a crypto casino, which obviously Swissborg will never truly identify itself as a casino. But what if we could create a product that could kind of also please Adrian on his weekends and just get more people, maybe even a DJ and Damia once in a while. So if you can go to the next slide. And then here, guys, as you can see, not only we're looking at trying to not go complete degen mode, but have a little more fun, have a little more flexibility. My brother always says it's important to keep it fun, fair, and community centric. Hopefully it will become fun. And what are the problems that this specific product is going to solve for you guys out there? Well, a lot of you guys are busy, lack of time. You're working 5 days a week. You spend your weekends maybe skiing in the mountains in the Alps or going to the beach in summer with your family, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lack of time. The team works for you. Lack of technical skills or information. We have DD teams, as you guys know, with the EARN program that can do all this due diligence and the technical evaluations and risk measurements for you to take less risk. But also the lack of a network. Some influencers, some VCs have incredible network and they get access to some really interesting opportunities. But as an individual by yourself, it is very difficult, right? And then we have the lack of perceived technological value. When you compare a VC with Swissborg, the difference is Swissborg also can list the token, can provide yields. We have thematics, so we have technological value, and then just lack of capital liquidity. So you see, a lot of these things that you may associate yourselves to, you probably would agree that, 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 of these concern you and revolve around you. So without further ado, and without talking about just the high level picture of everything like this, let's go into the meat and talk about the positioning before I pass it on to Danny. So the positioning, just to repeat what we just said, guys, you can see here that at the top right corner, we're a platform that focuses more on passive Passive as in, you don't need to trade every day. You don't need to rebalance your portfolio. You can do that through thematics. As you guys know, DCA, auto invest, all these things are going to try to make us as passive as possible. But also we tend to be on the far right corner where we only list projects that tend to be in the advanced stages, but we don't really focus enough on the early stages. So you can see on the other spectrum, can we do something that's passive, where minimum effort for you guys, but also can enjoy and reap the benefits, but also with taking the risks of projects in the earlier stages, even before the tokens launch. So if you can go to the next slide, this is essentially what we believe can be very interesting to add more fun to the app. And without further ado, Danny, I'll leave it on to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. That was actually a beautiful introduction of why I'm so excited about this product. So when you look back at the three personas that you just mentioned, Alex, I think it's very easy to see that Swissborg, we've always done very well for the early beginners, those who just started in their crypto journey, with the simplest app to use, super easy on ramps, off ramps. And then we're also really great for those who have experienced the wild west of DeFi, other exchanges who've broken down, etc. And then they reappreciate the simplicity that Swissborg actually brings you. You come back to the first principles. But there is, as you mentioned, a very specific use case for people who are in between, who have started out and are hungry for more, who are eager to carry on and keep exploring and see where their own limits are. And, at Swissborg, fundamentally, we're all about growth, personal growth, as well as an investor, as a person. And so here's why this alpha product is amazing. And let me give you some context. So as you know, crypto is exciting. That's fundamentally one of the amazing things about it. It is risk, it's tempo, it's 24/7, it's hope. It never finishes. It's always going on. There's always noise, FUD, FOMO, every single corner of the space. It's truly unlike any other market out there. But the truth is that finding the very best investment opportunities is hard. They're scarce. It's often really hard to access because, let's say, you need to bridge from one DeFi chain to the other. It's complex because you need to make really good due diligence on the smart contracts, and they're really short-lived often. So, it's hard to identify and act upon those golden chances. And if you can't act on it, well, you miss out on really, really valuable experience and opportunity. So just to give you some numbers, last year alone, you all know what a year it was. We lost 41 billion in CeFi alone. And not to say the names again, but it was a crazy year. And still now there's thousands of wallets that get hacked constantly every single day. So, DeFi has no safety net. CeFi is fundamentally a danger of its own corruption. So you need the projects that are really good are scarce. And we want to make sure that we can now find a way to help you identify those projects and take advantage of them. So if you can go to the next slide. Thanks so much. When opportunities are time sensitive, and let's say we found an amazing opportunity due to the market conditions or because it's an early project, as you mentioned, Alex, you need to have the confidence to act. But doing so is really hard because there's so many processes that needs to go into it. You need to understand the macro picture of what the economy is doing, what political spectrum is doing. You need to make your own market research, find out what the right due diligence is for. Is like you need to look at the project itself. Is the team good? Is a smart contract sound if it's on DeFi? What are the counterparty risks, and so on and so on. You need to have an entry and exit strategy to make sure that you actually can monetize that opportunity and don't let it be there forever. And more importantly, once you've done all that, you still need to continuously monitor that position you've taken and make sure that it's going the way you want and not lose sight of it. So finding those best opportunities takes not only time, but it takes technical skill. But yet the market conditions are fleeting, and those great opportunities are very quick to go and leave. So you need to be very confident to act upon it when the time is ripe. So here, this is where, ladies and gentlemen, we introduce Swissborg Alpha. What is Swissborg Alpha? Swissborg Alpha is nothing else but nothing more than your ability to harness the moment and to level up your game. So if you go on to the next slide, what Swissborg Alpha will allow you to do is to enter next step of your investment journey. Reach beyond the established boundaries that you set for yourself and discover new opportunities and the wider crypto world and horizon out there. We are going to bring the most exciting investment opportunities straight to your app. Investment opportunities from all corners of crypto. No, please go back. You're doing too quick. I know I speak quickly, but not that quick. Just come one slide back, please. Other way around. Thanks so much. So what I was saying is we are going to bring the most exciting investment opportunities straight to your app. This could be early deals, projects that are not listed yet. These are moonshots, super small projects that we think have a great return possibility. This could be advanced trading strategies that could take advantage of arbitrage, that they leverage some positions, and so much more. We will be able to bring to you cutting edge opportunities accessible nowhere else, and certainly nowhere else with that simplicity that we're going to bring you at Swissborg. Here you have a beautiful screen as an example. We might be able to talk about those specific examples a bit more later on, but you will see that the way it's going to work in the app, you will have your opportunity straight there where you want it. You'll be able to click on it. You have all the information in the world that you need to take the decision, and then you'll be able to take it. So if you go to the next slide, what it is concretely is vetted project and strategies that will make you feel empowered to seize the moment. Now, obviously, you don't have to, but what we want to make sure is that when we bring those opportunities to you, you can take, as mentioned before, that decision on the moment, and you have everything you need to be well informed and take that decision for you. So what you're going to have is that before we present an opportunity, our expert investment team at Swissborg will research, evaluate, and track each one of those alpha opportunities for you, making sure that when you get an opportunity, you have the confidence of the professional Swissborg investment team behind to think, like, guys, actually, this is a really good one. So all the context, the due diligence, the data, the strategic guidelines will be visible in the app straight there and then when you need it, allowing you again to make well-informed decisions and capitalize on that future, on that opportunity that you think is good as well. And that brings me to a really nice summing up page slide where we listed a few examples of everything that's going around Swissborg Alpha and the opportunities that it will bring. And I'm so excited to bring this to you guys in the very near future. We've got an amazing team behind it working on it. And actually, I think it's really a matter of only a few days before the first one will come. So the next slide sums it up. And Alex, Sai, if you guys are around, happy to bring it back to you.
Wow. The energy of Danny, literally, it was exploding. Like my actual computer rebooted 17 times. And but a lot of people, it's really cool. Hope you guys understand it. So Sai, how would you summarize all of Danny's amazing like wisdom and words in a few sentences? Like, do you have a way of really simplifying and putting this all into a bundle for everyone to understand what it is out there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's so many different cases where we did extremely things really good at Swissborg, and some of them we haven't done so right, right? Like for example, being able to list tokens prior to Binance. You see very often Binance is always front running people or different exchanges. But what if you had the opportunity to get in before that Binance and get listed, or at least being able to to get that opportunity, that alpha opportunity to get in? And I think that that's exactly it. It's like, getting to the hottest concert tickets before they're announced, right? And that's like one of the strong case that I strongly believe that is really important. Some people could call it front running, or other people could be like getting a better deflow and being able to get onto the VIP list, right? And I think so. This is something that I think so is it's really important. And of course, what just Danny said is we know we have had the knowledge to figure out where and how to invest, but we haven't found yet the solutions how to offer this to our amazing community. And then that's why today I'm so excited that this is going to be a massive game changer, especially now where there's so much opportunities, right? Within crypto, like where obviously since the beginning of the year, there's some tokens that have rallied quite well, especially like Bitcoin, Ethereum, but the alt season has not really started yet. And there's a lot of opportunities in some distressed assets, but there's as well a lot of opportunities in some new projects that are going to reshape Web3. And for that, I mean, I don't know what you think, Alex, but I'm very, very excited about that. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, excitement and fun is what you're saying, Sai. This Swiss Sport Gap was cozy. Now there's a little bit of fun. It's almost like, Sai, we had merry-go-rounds in our own little amusement park, but here are some of the roller coasters. And by the way, Alpha is a really cool name, guys. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section. The reason why I love Alpha is because number one, Alpha means looking for asymmetrical gains, right? Like strong performance. So it talks about the returns, but Alpha also means early, right? As in alpha stages of software. So it's also early stage, meaning it could potentially be higher risk as well. Of course, the earlier it is, the higher the risk, but at least we can provide what we believe are the alpha opportunities. So you guys heard it, right? And we're going to give some specific examples in the next slides for you to better understand what alpha encompasses as a product and why it's so important. So yeah, let's dive into it together. And one thing here, Sai, actually, this slide is really important, guys, is that alpha is the perfect way to connect the hero score with your CHSB and the premiums. So everything is interconnected. And I think that really, Sai, correct me if I'm wrong, alpha is almost like a group of utilities, right? Into other sub utilities, right? Because I see some people out there, they're saying, oh, it's just a launchpad. No, it's just not just a launchpad. We'll dive into the examples. But would that be correct, Sai? Alpha is like a group utility with some sub utilities.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely the possibility of having a launchpad and venture deals, but I think so it's more than that. It's like, how do you provide, usually if you go to regular restaurant, you're gonna have these regular dishes. But this for me is like something that's completely new that no one usually gets. These are the side deals that venture capitalists gets. This is the strategies that very strong hedge fund teams would build. And why not give the nicest piece to our community? I think so that's something that is really good. And more importantly is how you make sure that you are creating essentially a queue of people that really want to get to eat that special menu, to get that special deal, to have that really VIP concert, right? I think so that's something that's very, very important. And for that, obviously, bringing new utilities, but of course, having the premium, that's going to be a strong part. But having the hero score is going to bring a lot of people to draw attention to, again, be healthy and be wealthy.
Awesome. So let's go into some of the examples. So here, guys, we have a reward system. Now, every one of you out there, when you saw the hero score, which I said Joko and Yosef, it's just because Joko is his like nickname internally. But the rules of the game are not going to be published in advance. You'll get more specifics about the rules of the game when season one starts. So once again, guys, a reminder, please do not forget to opt in the first season of the hero score on Monday, right? So sorry for repeating myself, but I don't want anyone to miss out on this because we're working so hard on the opportunities. But here is just to give you guys an example of how alpha connects with the hero score. So when it comes to alpha, there will be different allocations, different opportunities, different sizes, right? Sometimes, unfortunately, if you're aiming for the top projects, you want an allocation, they give very small allocations. Some projects will give you a bigger allocation. But long story short, we have to start in a way where the big CHSB token holders and those who have been faithful, loyal, and hodling will get access to top tier deals and opportunities. So the hero score will determine, the top people who are eligible for some of the top deals. But we also further down the line, this is an MVP, an example of how the scoring system will work and how you will be rewarded. But it's very important to reward those Genesis people that we saw earlier who essentially dumped 40 million CHSB last year because they felt like they weren't getting enough opportunities, they weren't getting enough utilities. So it's important that we make them happy. But I think, Sai, further down the line, the ideal scenario, right, is to have some sort of like coupon system, but lottery ticket system, right? Here is the simple MVP on how we start for season one. But how do you see this scoring system go down further down the line, Sai? So in season two, season three of the Heroes.
I don't want to spoil it, but I know that a
Okay,
lot of
let's not
people
spoil
have
it.
enjoyed different ways to bring fun into the Series A, and going forward, we're going to bring a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to learn from them, and obviously we're going to earn from them. So maybe Alex, for the again to describe well what's the Alpha suite of products, which is obviously some ventures and Launchpad, but actually tell us what's more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of you guys out there, Joao, by the way, I saw your comment. It's just a launchpad. No, it isn't. So this combines Swissborg Ventures. It combines launchpad IDO opportunities. It also combines early gems or distressed assets from the secondary market. So you see here we have one big utility, guys, that connects to both the primary and secondary markets all in one series of products under the Alpha banner. So it's amazing. It's a lot more than you can think. And I'll give you guys an example of what a distressed asset means, right? So a distressed asset, if you see on the second side, you guys know what ventures is, you know what launchpad is, early gems, you know what that means. But a distressed asset, for example, if we see a project that, for example, the token has very little trading volume, the market cap has been destroyed irrationally by the current market circumstances, and that we do proper due diligence with them, we'll say, okay, listen, we are going to help you. We're going to do an OTC deal with you. We'll negotiate a discount for vesting in exchange for vesting, and we'll offer this opportunity to the Swissborg heroes because they deserve it. They're the ones who hold CHSB. They're the ones who have been using the app since the early days. They're the ones who have been loyal, et cetera, et cetera. So here,
And
yeah,
on top of that, Alex, if I may, is that how are they loyal? Of course, there's a premium, which is crazy about loyalness in
premium.
Web3. No one is as loyal as the premiums we have. Second, it's ongoing loyalness because the hero score provides that it's active loyal people that are trying to bring even more loyalness, and again, being healthy and being wealthy. So that is really, for us, it's an easy sell. The few projects I think, Alex, you maybe going to talk about it a little bit. Uh, we just talked about premiums. Like, what do you mean staking for 1 year? They're like, yeah, people are staking for 1 year for premium, and we actually never got. We had very small amount of downgrades of premium or people actually leaving. We usually always have upgrades. And then this new hero score, I think so, is just gonna, mind blow these different projects that are say like, well, if they've done that, why not let we'll definitely want these beautiful investors to be part of our community too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's so many of these projects, by the way, guys. There's some projects that generated $50 million in revenues last year. Their market cap is between 3 to 6 million fully diluted, and they have some massive milestones coming up. So it's really our job to make all this work automated for you guys. So the distress assets, it's almost like a community copy trade that everything is automated for you guys all through the Swissborg app. So take all of these sub products and you throw them into the Swissborg app. I'm so excited, Sai. I think this is a game changer, and I also think, Sai, that this is the best timing because there's always timing in the game, right? Obviously, we're going to work on the cards, debit cards, and other things in the future, but one thing you guys got to understand: if you really want to time yourself for ventures, if you want to time yourself for distressed assets or launch pads, right now, Sai, isn't it probably the best time in the world to do that? Because once you arrive in the latter part of the bull cycle, then by the time you unlock, invest, etc., then the likelihood of your token price going down is very high. So what do you think, Sai?
Yeah, it's the best. You can't, I mean, the timing is just the best. When people are shaking, when that means valuation are at the lowest, and that means that, you know, fortune will go to the smart ones that are contrarian. And I know we have many of those at Borgers that have those green eyes and green hearts. And talking about Borgers, what is the first essentially alpha opportunity, Alex? What's it going to be?
I think it's probably the most competitive and the fastest growing gaming guild and esports team across the world.
No need to introduce what is Export to most of you guys, but it is one of the leading, if not the leading, Web3 gaming protocol that has the strongest community thanks to Borgers and many other 10,000 being the NFT price has done extremely well since the launch in the worst markets ever. So imagine if this wasn't in other markets. The team itself, it's amazing. We had a live with Anthony and Louis, the founder himself, last night. This is done at, of course, at early stage investment. So looking at a token that will have essentially a small cap, which is really, really interesting. And there's already over 5,000 people that want to participate in it. So I hope you guys will be able, I hope I will be able to. So I really need to improve my hero score in order to get a location with Xborg. I'm, yeah, for this one, I'm just very, very excited. And what's your thoughts, Alex?
Guys, you need to follow Louis. You need to meet him in person. He's a young man with an old man's brain. It's so funny, guys. He's so smart for his age. He's so conservative. He's so analytical and deep when it comes to the opportunities and the managing the teams and everything. I'm super bullish for Sport. 55 million fully diluted valuation relative to some of the gaming guilds that have, as we can see here, 150, 200, 250 million FDV, given for the fact that he has more engagement and more importantly, the most amazing community. Shout out to all you guys out there, like helping Xborg expand. But again, this is one of those projects where you realize that it's still very early in gaming. It's even earlier in gaming guilds, but the ties they have with Red Bull, world champions, to the number one esports teams in Switzerland, it's just going to go get bigger and bigger from here.
Yeah, so shout out to all this big team of Export. That's a growing one. Amazing people there on every different position. And looking forward to this season one for Alpha Opportunities. With that being said, I think so it would be nice to look a bit into what we have in order. Oh, sorry, Alex. This is the CHB's utility summary. Do you want to go through this
Yeah, absolutely.
on
So
your
everyone
toolpath?
out there, guys, I want to make sure that we can summarize everything today in 2 slides. Okay. If it was too complicated, si vous êtes des francophones, si vous êtes des Allemands, or different countries, yeah, we'll try to have it in different languages. I believe Cyrus, you're going to do a French version as well
I will be
on
with
Discord.
CryptoFeld right after on Discord, so looking
Okay,
forward to have
fantastic.
conversations. Yeah.
Okay. Vous en faites pas les Français, alors les francophones, pas de souci. So here's a summary, guys, to put everything into perspective, right? So you can see in the top right, imagine you guys are still a small fish, right? You're still new to crypto. You don't have much wealth, which by the way was Cyrus and I just 5-6 years ago. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. I remember my first investment was $100, and that was a lot to me in 2016. So everyone starts there. If you're a fish, what is in it for you today, guys? Now you have a power up governance utility. It's no longer, a referendum that happens randomly with, long spans in between. It's a fixed utility that will be ongoing, constantly ongoing, so that every time you voice your opinion, you will be rewarded with Swissborg tokens. And then for all the whales out there, same thing for you. You will replace the yield by being active in the community and being rewarded in CHSB tokens as well. Now, on top of that, both the smaller fish and the whales or the dolphins or the bigger fish are connected to the hero score, right? You can see that in the middle. And the hero score is essentially a new program that injects a reward system to you, the community members out there. Now, if you're a smaller fish, and we haven't talked about the rewards that specifically for the smaller fish, we talked about alpha today, but I can tell you guys that once you know the rewards for the smaller fish, you will be able to build up your CHSB tokens. You will be able to get discounts on premiums. And the whole purpose of the hero score is to help accelerate you guys on your path to becoming bigger and bigger fish over time. So it's a beautiful gradual curve where you will be able to earn CHSB for your positive behavior. you will get premium discounts for your positive behavior, and we're going to push you on the other side so that you can eventually, like the bigger, medium to bigger fish, can enjoy alpha, which is a group of utilities connecting to the most important utilities and the best timing in the crypto cycle. So if you can go to the next slide, Sai. So far, does that make sense so far, the summary, or?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it, and I think so. For this, I think so. We went through it again. Swiss Pork Alpha. It's not only about non-listed. It's not only about the primary market with Launchpad, but is it really there to look at the early gems, distressed assets, look into NFTs, really try to capture where you are going to be able to potentially have asymmetrical essentially performances. So if the market's doing X percent, you're going to do X plus percent, right? Or potentially lower, just to make things clear. But these are the type of really niche type of investment deals that usually only go for the best of the best, or the luckiest of the luckiest, or the people who have the most money. It never usually goes to the crowd. And I think so. This is what we've always done extremely well at Swissport, is how essentially to manage your wealth, even if it's €1,000, even if it's 5,000 euros, even if it's just zero point 0.1 BTC. But how can with the community, with your status, with your premium, but now with the hero score, get the ability to get that wheel of fortune and potentially to go eat some chocolate at the Charlie the Charlie chocolate factory, right? That's that thing that we've always been trying to do and trying to bring and I couldn't be more excited about the alpha opportunities. Alex, you want to just list some of these potential deal flows that we're
Yeah,
gonna be working on?
very briefly, Sai, very briefly. And I just wanted to give examples. So these are all projects that we've already invested in and that we want to open up to the community, right? Through alpha in some ways. But I'll give you some examples, guys. So for example, let's picture that Sweatcoin has already launched in the secondary market. So if Sweatcoin starts pumping in price, we have tokens. We can give airdrops through stake drops, right? We can also give discounted deals eventually if the token goes a lot higher than the private sale. It's already in the secondary market. So that can be an example of some sort of discount or distressed or even just OTC discount. But at the same time, if there are projects that haven't launched before, we can also offer them. So, for example, recently, guys, we invested in Eigenlayer. We've already signed the SAFT and we've transacted. Eigenlayer is probably the most important Ethereum DApp that is going to come out in 2023. They're the most important Ethereum DApp, once again, in 2023. We got access to this deal flow. So these are the type of things, size, just examples. Now, what we need to do on our side in the weeks to come is to structure them for you guys and find a way to get this in the app as soon as possible. But these are already deals that have been done. Now, we on our side, we need to legally, financially, accounting wise, figure out how we can get this and ship this to you through Alpha as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I think so. To get back to what we're doing and how I think so we're growing as ecosystem is to again really understand the opportunities. So on the short term, we really showed like what's the potential growth with Swissborg, right? And I think so. What we're always trying to bring is these four pillars that can make a token extremely successful. Is to increase token utilities, to have a participative approach to define the future of the token, right? Really have a real strong governance on top of it. And that's something that we've done well in some aspects, but we are going to definitely going to improve with the protect and choose that's going to be on a monthly basis, really being able to have the systematic way of doing referendums and giving the ability to you, our dear borgers, the way to interact as the way you think. Then the third is what we rarely think about what's happening in crypto is had a long-term vision. A long-term vision that could bring a sustainable model. Most models in crypto is to buy, go with 10,000% and then blow up. It takes time to build sustainable, economical businesses. And now, 6 years down the line, we've shown the world that we've went through it. And again, people say like, "Oh yeah, but Swissborg is this is that." Swissborg is today the one of the only European markets player that's not as only alive, but it's thriving. Look what happened just a month ago with one or the biggest crowd equity funding of all time in terms of number of funds raised and as well in terms of investor that committed. And for that, again, I really want to really thank you very much. And the last for making sure that, and this is what we really need to do to make there's essentially more people that get into the Swissbar token, you need to decentralize it, you need to bring it into DeFi, you need to list it on different exchanges. And that's pretty much what we're doing. So always try to mix what is the long-term sustainable way to bring CHSB to the next chapter, the next phase, and the all-time high, and another all-time high, and then as well, how can the short-term growth have happen? And 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 to make this maybe to finish with a good perspective here is to really give you a clear roadmap of what's going to happen throughout 2023 and to remind you what's going to happen on the short term and how we're going to build then the long-term vision and then make a sustainable token. So right away, it's about voting. The CHSB Garden, you're going to be able to vote starting tomorrow. On Monday, you'll be able to participate into the essentially the Hero Score program. So you'll be able to opt in and finally be able to, again, build healthy habits to become wealthy. Um, End of May, 1st of May, we'll be ending, sorry, the yield as it's done today. Of course, in the future, we're going to bring different sustainable ways to have yield on the Swissport token. But for now, we'll stop and we explain extremely well. Thanks to Julia for this explaining. As we're on fire and we won't stop until we reach that beautiful top, we will have alpha opportunity. We'll be starting. It would be in the first 2 weeks of May, which is very exciting, and we'll be able to participate in essentially an export its token. And then the next phase that we really haven't talked about it, but this is where I think so Swissborg will move very well from this intranet to internet, this real Web3 vision is finally when we'll be able to have a Swissborg DAO, a foundation that would be live by itself, right? And we'll be able to elect different members for that DAO and these different councils that will be able to represent Swissborg in the best way and really have, a framework that is participative and that people can manage budgets and things like that. We'll have more alpha opportunities, of course, going forward down the line. And last but not least, should we share this, Alex? Oh, it was actually on the slide. So, do you want to share it? Maybe last one, Alex.
The last one, yeah. So, guys, tell us what you think about today's update. Once again, everything we talked about today are things that we're working on in the near future, right? We didn't
But
talk
wait,
about what's
Alex.
going on. There are other, yeah.
But the last thing is about the CHSB upgrade. I think so. That's the
It's
most important.
exactly where I was going. That's where I
Sorry
was
about
going. Yeah.
that. Sorry about that. Go for it.
Yeah, it's just
So
like there's so many things happening in parallel simultaneously. And just today, we don't want to come out and give too many optimistic news and overpromise and underdeliver. So today, really, what we did, Sai, right, which I like about this format. Let us know, guys, what do you think? Is just focus on the short term. So here we're talking about Q2, Q3, everything that we want to deliver, so that it's crystal clear. But and just before the decentralized CHSB as well. So for alpha opportunities, we're starting with Xborg, but there will be other opportunities that we're working on in the background. So yeah, I don't know. I like this format. So I think we should, rather than seeing you guys once a year with a really long presentation, what do you guys think? Should we see each other 3-4 times a year, maybe 3 times a year with shorter formats and more concentrated roadmaps for the short term? What do you think, Sai?
whatever the community likes, I'm always very excited about, being interacting, having open communication. I think so it's the most important thing is authenticity and making sure that we have good news, we have bad news, but we know that on the long run, future is bright. And I think so really the new upgrade about the CHSB token and how to decentralize it, how to bring it to DeFi, cross communities through it, bring a real sustainable yield is exactly where we're heading. And maybe on the short run, people are pissed off saying, oh, I wanted my yield, I invested that money. Uh, yeah, well, if you think on the short run, you're still probably less than 50 to 80% from your performance from the old times high. So that yield that you're not going to maybe make for maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that's like 4% of what you have in holding in Swiss Bar token. Is that as important as going 10x, 30x or more in the future? And being able to essentially have a sustainable yield that's going through DeFi, of course, that's exactly where we should be heading. And I think so we've shown very well that in crypto you have a lot of volatility, but what you need to make sure is why, for example, you have an economical model that really works well. This morning there was a few of my very smart friends. They were saying, but why does Ethereum cost so much to send? Essentially, the gas costs so much. I mean, well, it's easy. If it doesn't cost anything, why would you be, working so hard on it? Second, is it enables you to pay essentially the yield that's on top of it, right? That's why the cost essentially is so high to Ether. So you always have to think about, what's on the longer run and not what's on the shorter run. And 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 talking about the the longer run, what's the most important is to bring democracy into wealth management, right? Is to democratize what we're doing. And I invite all of you guys to scan this QR code and to vote on its future, on the future of the CHSB token, to vote that the future obviously is green, and that Swissborg is done for the community and by the community. So just yeah, go there, scan, make your vote on potentially what's going to be the future of the Swissborg token by finding its name. I think so. This is something that's very important. Alex, do you want to share what's the name? So of course it could remain CHSB, or it could be named something else.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the CHSB is too close to HSBC. So, so many people call it, "Oh, I bought some HSBC." So, I don't know. I've seen a lot of like community members saying they like Borg out there. Some people say Swiss. It doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't really matter. What matters the most is the community, and I hope you guys understand. Before you show this, don't push, don't push. Wait, before we end, guys. I think that we've seen, if we take everything into perspective in 2022, we've seen many unhappy Genesis premium members that had lots of CHSB, that had some serious dumping pressure on the price of the token, regardless of the yield, as you saw. And for these reasons, I am so absolutely, certainly 100% confident that with the new system that we have, that will reward everyone, regardless of your wealth, in a fair way, thanks to the hero score that takes into consideration all the criteria that we need to have a healthy ecosystem, to have a sustainable ecosystem. I am super, super bullish. Obviously, I'm biasedly so, but let us know what you think, guys. And I think Cyrus wants to end this by not a goodbye, but a see you later, right, Sai?
Exactly. I think so. That's the whole point. Is yeah, make sure that yeah that you know being able to give a name to something is I think so very personal. I think so that when you name something, and I know it because I named Swissport, and actually I even named the CHSB, and that's maybe the reason why I put it on my neck. That's why the reason probably I have it on my watch. It's probably the reason I have it all around myself is because I think so I do own a part of it. I think so that's exactly what we've been doing extremely well at Swissport, is how to give ownership to everyone, and how to give it through shares, how to give it through the token, and give the what's the future and what's the story of the Swissborg token. You might lose 10% today, you might lose 10% tomorrow. It might earn, it might make 50% after tomorrow. That's only essentially connected to the trust that we put into something. And I think so being able to choose the name of Borg or going or staying with CHSB will give us again a little bit more ownership and the ability to control our future in a better way. And if you have other suggestions, of course we can make other suggestions. Just within the team, it
So
has to
you
be like
guys
the
heard
three or
it.
four letters.
You guys heard it. So it was Cyrus's baby initially. Now it's your baby, guys. Please decide on the future of this baby. You're naming the baby, literally. And I think one more thing, Sai, just on top of the vote, guys, don't forget once again to opt in season one of Heroes on next Monday. This is very important, guys. And if you don't mind as well, sharing the love, spreading it across Discord, making sure that everyone hears this. There's going to be, I believe, Sai, it's a 10-day, there's a 10-day span, right? I think until April, was it, what was the last day actually? Well, we'll post it online anyways, guys, but please make sure that you do opt in to the next season of Heroes, because there will be lots of prizes, lots of rewards, and we really want you to see how beneficial this is going to be for the community.
100%. So I wanted to thank everyone again, as always. It was a great honor to have many of our team members that came for this wonderful session. Really want to thank everyone, Jotso, Julia, Benji, Alex. Um, did I forget anyone? I'm not sure if I forgot anyone. If anyways, Aurélien, of course. And yeah, I thought it was a really good one. I think so. It was a different format from what we usually see uh, for that. And yeah, I'm gonna be pour tous les francophones à 21 heures, on se rejoint au Crypto Café avec nos chers burgers et cryptophiles. Donc rejoignez-nous sur Discord ou sur Twitter. Je crois que ça sera sur les deux différentes plateformes. On pourra permettre justement de parler un peu plus. And like always, guys, maybe last thing, last quote. In these moments, a lot of people are probably still feeling like, oh, but the token's not performing as much as it should be. And I think that is completely rational. But what you always have to think is that we're in a rational world. And Netflix and Tesla and all these different stocks have lost 80%. Bitcoin has been able to bounce back, but 3 months ago was at 16,000, right? And I think so. What you have to always think is, again, the long run. Don't let interfere the emotions of the financial markets to yourself. I think this is something that's very important. If you love your sister, your brother, your wife, your husband, it's not because it's going to rain tomorrow that you're not going to like that person as much. Right now, it's been raining and snowing for the past 14 months. But look, like always, after rain, after snow, there's different seasons. And you're going to see some blossom that's going to happen. Flowers are going to start popping out. Slowly but surely, you're going to remove that big coat. You're going to take off your big boots. You're going to start wearing those comfortable shorts and shirts. You're going to start enjoying your life. And this is going to be exactly the same with the phases of happening in crypto. Reminder, we lost 99% 4 years ago, right? Those who were smart to believe into what Swissborg was are today multimillionaires, and not only millionaires because they essentially made those millions, but they're helping other people. The most amount of people I've saw of Swissborg who make a big fortune out of it has been helping people in the most beautiful way. The most beautiful way, helping their families, helping their communities in so great ways. And I think so that's what I think so what Swissborg is always was about is how you as a human become a better person. And not just when is the pump, when is the dump. That's just a correlation of how much love and dedication and hard work you put into investments and you put into ecosystems that you strongly believe in. So as always, guys, be wealthy, be healthy, love our CHSV and our equity. Take care, guys. Much